Right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Dream Career Talkshow. And today we have a special guest talking about a very special topic. We know that civil engineering is a subject which has been there, and in engineering, civil engineering has been something which has been always evergreen. A lot of civil engineers, but then just get to learn theoretical knowledge and they struggle when they get the real work. It's important to know how to supervise the work at the site, to understand more about site techniques. How do you perform the job in the best ways? What are the different ways and what are the different site techniques? Today we have our guest with us who is coming with huge experience. Varadarajan comes with over 2 decades of experience in site engineering. He's been a civil engineer having experience in engineering projects related to Oil PSU and other organizations. He has executed various types of works in civil, mechanical, pipelines, automation. He has done some CSR works. He has done it in construction and maintenance of retail outlets, consumer pumps, railway, consumer depots, etc. Today, he coaches site engineers the best site techniques needed at construction site. He's also an upcoming author, and I'm privileged to have him today on this show. So, Varadarajan, welcome to Dream Career Talk Show.
Good evening,
Good evening.
everyone.
Great. So nice to have you here, Varadarajan.
Thank you. I am
So
happy
let
to
us
be in
begin.
the talk show.
Yeah, great. So let us begin with your journey, career journey. How did you get started into this particular career, and how has been your journey so far? So let's hear more from you on this.
Yeah, basically, because of uh, uh, the loss of my father at the younger age, when I was studying 8th standard, I had to go for a job. That was the situation of the family. So I had to go for that diploma, complete a diploma in civil engineering. Then immediately I should go for a job. And I had to go for a job to the farther city at Goa. PWD I joined first. Then I also joined in Hotel Oberoi Bogomolo Beach as a civil supervisor. Then I again joined back to Goa PWD. Then I also joined in Goa Shipyard Limited, there itself, 3-4 organization. Then I could get uh, the Indian Oil Corporation Limited. I joined public sector oil company. Those days um, it is a advertisements. There is no written exams like that. So after joining, I have to join the across from Arabic Sea to Bay of Bengal. Visakhapatnam I got posted. So from there, I have traveled almost all the districts of Andhra Pradesh for petrol pump constructions. Then I came to Tamil Nadu and so many locations in Tamil Nadu. Then I went to Manipur. Then from there I came to again Tamil Nadu. Then I came to Karnataka. Then from Karnataka I went to Kerala. So finally I retired at Kerala last year. This is my journey. And one blessing as disguises is all along I was in only engineering department, except for 2 years. So I could enjoy instead of feeling unhappy. Reason is I since the beginning I was at site. More number of years I was at site. So I was feeling very enthusiastic to do the site works. So this made me to be I not feel of any what you call more work or something like that, because people normally get stressed if site work is there. I feel the best place to work for any civil engineer is a site, not office. This is my journey.
Great, wonderful journey, like coming with such huge experience. And yes, of course, is inspirational as well. The way you started after losing your dad at an young age and reaching the great heights that you got into your career. This has been amazing. And now that you have got into a different journey altogether, where you are now helping the site engineers in the construction sites, how do they do better work and all? How did this thought process come across, and how did you get started on this journey of coaching and guiding these people?
Yes. As soon as I joined in the first company of first Goa PWD, I came to a lot of things that uh, we are the only person at site for doing the work. We have to learn everything. So, um, but there was no time. Uh, then when I went to second company also, I found out the same thing, that a lot of works are there, but we are the only person at site and we have to learn ourselves. And neither we can read the book that point of time when the work is taking place, nor somebody will be there behind you to tell what is to be done. So what I have done, the first after joining Indian Oil, the first job when I went there, I found out a lot of challenges at site to execute a particular type of work. That uh, that first work was the a big mat concrete for the underground tank. So when I went there, I found out that lot of challenges. We have to stop the work. It has come to that level because underground tank at the in Andhra Pradesh, lot of water level will be very very high. So water gushing will be always there. We have to stop the water gushing inside the pit. Plus, we have to put the concrete and make it to happen. And we have to preserve it for at least for 2 3 hours initially, so that concrete will settle. Till such time, water should not come inside. This is challenge. So when I was there, what I could see was the arrangements and the whatever the that time it was. I am telling about more than 30 years, 30 35 years back. The arrangements and those availability of tools and all, it is very very minimal. So I was thinking what to do. So when I was talking to the contractors and workers, they were telling, "Sir, parallelly we will do everything." Means the stoppage of water, putting the concrete, doing the work, doing other works parallelly. This will happen parallelly, they said. Though it is right, every work cannot be happen one after another. It has to happen parallelly. But I found out there is some. If there would have been some pre-arrangements, we can reduce lot of time and lot of thing. Whatever we are doing at site, it is meant for the quality purpose. That is why we are there. Otherwise, work can be done by anybody. So when quality is required, we have to do everything at the right time. Either putting the concrete or removing the water or leveling the concrete, compacting the concrete, setting the concrete, everything. It has to be done at right time. Okay, after putting concrete, let us see leveling concrete we'll do after half an hour. If we think like that, it is not possible. It is not correct. It is not to be done like that. So we have to make some planning at the initial stage itself. This time this time this like that. So I could talk to contract that time. Fortunately, contractor was very smart enough to do whatever I say, even though I supposed to cancel the concrete because of my first experience. I cannot cancel because already 30 laborers are there at site. We cannot send them back, and we cannot plan the work like that. So with the lag of 6 hours, 6 hours contractor took for rectification of those works what is supposed to do it at site, for doing proper concreting of the underground concreting. So after 6 hours, we could able to do work. That day, I thought this is not the way to do any type of work. Whenever work is to be planned or planning, this work is to be monitored from the beginning and it's not on the day of the work. So I started writing certain checkpoints, checkings of works, every work, what is the checking to be done, when it is to be done, that checking. On the day of concreting, if you go and do the checking, no, that will never work, because there are some checks which supposed to do before concreting, before when they are arranging the concrete itself, we supposed to do. So these arrangements I noted down and arrived at the site techniques, which is called the checkpoints of 3-stage supervision. This has been my practice every site wherever I worked. And I used to ask the confirmation from the contractors, confirmation from the workers, and confirmation from the consultants before I reach the site. So once they confirm of as per my checklist only, I conclude that it is ready for concreting. Then I can go for supervision. But afterwards also there has been some instances that even after confirmation, there has been some lacunas after reaching the site. Then we found out that it is because those coordination between the contractors and workers was never happened properly. Everyone believed themselves, and at site nobody was aware. Then after I questioned again at site confirmation, then it was a problem of shortage of materials for doing the work. Then finally contractor has to arrange very what do you call, very shortest manner he has to arrange it. It was very problematic one, because concreting we cannot stop at all in between. So subsequently I adopted some other method of checking the um, uh, checking the points. For example, if you suppose if materials has to be arranged, some 5 loads of jelly has to be arranged. If it is there, as if we are arriving at when we ask, they will tell 5 loads. Everyone will tell 5 loads. 5 loads is there at site. After arriving at site, approximately whether 5 loads is there or not, when we check, that time we will come to know it may be either 4 loads or it may be either 5 loads. So when we check, that time they will come to know, no, there has been some problem at supply point, so we could not get, so now we will arrange. This type of things will happen. But what will happen is, one of the site, before doing this, when I went to the site, after concrete starting only, everybody, including workers, supervisors, and the concrete contractor, was able to understood that there is a shortage of materials, because one person supervisor did not keep the contractor informed or worker informed that this material is not enough. So these type of things, when it takes place, I thought this is not the way. We have to have, for every site we will have some checkpoints to be listed, and have with me every time, and discuss with them every time before starting to go to site itself. I will ask the confirmation. When I ask them to repeat, tell me what I asked, what is the quantity. If I ask that a repetition with the contractors or workers, sometimes they will tell opposite, just opposite. In the sense, they get the thing from us, but they don't really, and it goes to their mind to give the order of the materials at site. So this made me to note down all the points for all the works, whatever work I worked, all the points I have listed for all the major items of works. I listed the 3 techniques, methods. Stage 1 supervision before start of the work. Stage 2 supervision is during construction, during work is carried out. That time, what are the checks to be done separately? That is stage 2 supervision. Then stage 3 supervision is after construction, after work is over, what is the checks to be done? This is to be this is listed by me for all type of major items of works. Then every work I used to ask them whether this is ready or that is ready. For example, if concrete is there, let us assume everybody thinking. I mean, I'm not telling about the engineers. I'm telling about the normal general public. What they will think that today concrete is over means work is over. Today concrete is completed for example, some house construction, roof slab is laid. Let us assume a roof slab, once it is casted, then they will understand, yes, today concrete is over, then work is over. Actually, engineer's work is not completed. Engineer work will be completing after minimum 21 days of putting concrete in. These 21 days, he has to cure the concrete. If he is not curing, then it is as good as concrete is not laid. So this point only site engineer has to know. Suppose as a site engineer, if he feels that his duty is over after putting concreting, then next work he can look for it. No, next parallel work he has to do it. Apart from that, daily whether curing is done or not has to be ensured by only site engineer. If he is not checking up with workers that whether curing is done for the concrete or not, then if it is not done, if contract is not taking care of this, if supervise is not taking care of that, if workers is not taking care of this point, then what will happen to the concrete? Quality will not be there. It may not immediately go, but it will, the life, it may be reduced like anything. So that is the role engineer plays. He has to remember everything. He has to take care of these points at site. He cannot fix anybody responsible. Of course, he can give the instructions to the workers and contractors, but he has to cross check at site. I mean, he need not be at site. He has to cross check when he's in from office. He can cross check. Moreover, certain big constructions, big concrete works, he has to do surprise visits whether curing is done or not. A minimum duty he is supposed to do it is that he has to check personally. He has to do some surprise checks. Whatever the instructions given by him, whether they are carrying out or not. This is applicable at each site. It is not that one site is over and next site people will happen as it is. We can't. Site engineer cannot believe like that. Even with their same contractor, workers may be different, supervisors may be different site. So he has to continuously execute this type of cross checks and checkpoints at all the sites and all type of work. Yeah.
Interesting. The challenges that you went through, the pain that you went through, you documented it, and today you are teaching to all these people so that they don't have to go through that.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So that's amazing. Like coming with the 3 decades of experience when you're putting this across and training to people. I'm sure this is going to help a lot of site engineers. Now, if we have to come down to the role of a site engineer, because you are helping site engineers, so what is the role of a site engineer? Like if you have to look at it.
Yeah. It is very good question because any engineer who is at site, first, if he is not knowing about his role, he cannot direct anybody there at site, be it in a contractor, be it in a supervisor, or be it workers. Some places, some consultants also will be there. So his role is, first he has to read the work orders. What is there? What is work to be done? He has to fully, at least 2-3 times, he has to know and remember the items of work. What is there first? Secondly, sequences of the work when he is carrying out. Today, if his particular type of work if he is doing, that work he has to once again read that and give the instruction to the workers or supervisors to execute the work on particular day of work. This is the first duty is that he should know what is the work to be done. If he is not telling a particular item of work to be done in a particular day, who else will do? On contractor will know what is. Suppose building construction is there, we have to explore excavation, we have to do as per the drawing, we have to do foundation, we have to do column, we have to do beam, we have to do slab, we have to construct a wall, plastering. This is a sequence everybody knows. But on the particular day of work, at a particular type of building, there may be a different type of specification. Even if there is no difference in specification, we have to see for that particular work order what specification is given. That is most important for any site engineer to give instruction to the contractors or workers. He has to go through the work order. That is the first thing he has to do. Next, the coordination which he is supposed to do. Most of the sites, if it is not there, work will be in FSI manner, work will be happening. He has to have good coordination between the contractor, supervisor, and workers and consultant. This coordination only he has to do. Just because people are available there, things cannot happen on its own in the sequence what is supposed to happen. If he is coordinating with all these four and make things happen in a proper time, is his duty. So he has to know that simply people are available at site, things will happen if he feels, and not interacting with all the four. Or one day one person, if he does, things will not be all right. It will happen that somewhere work will get bad quality. Next, every day there is one called as site rituals. He has to do some site rituals. Means the giving instruction to the contractors and workers, supervisors, making rounds of site, what is happened yesterday and what is going to happen today, plus giving toolbox talks to the workers. It is the daily instructions and daily instruction about the work and daily instruction about the safety of the workers. That speech is called toolbox talks in the site. This he has to do it. If he is not doing, people will not know. I have been seeing so many sites. Workers are good. They are like robot. They will work. Only point is they will not think what is the work to be done. Whatever the work you instruct, they will do it. If we are not instructing them, then problem lies with us. Then they will do some work. But is this a work supposed to be done at a particular point of time for the particular work? They will not think in that angle because they have not studied also. But work, nobody can do work like them. So this, he has to take responsibility, site engineer, interact with the workers, what type of work. When you interact itself, they will come to know your rhythm. Then every day they themselves will voluntarily tell you, sir, today I am doing that work. Then you can understand, yes, if you have the site rituals done daily, maybe about 1 month or so, 2 months or so, you may be asking them. Subsequently, they themselves will inform that I am doing this work, I am completing that work, I completed that work. So they will give a feedback for yourself. Plus, coordination between the consultant, if consultant is there, is the most vital point. We cannot simply accept whatever they are doing because consultant, whatever is available, consultant also like another engineer. Unless you have interaction with him, he will not be able to confirm himself that he is doing the work as per requirement of us, as per requirement of work order. Or if you are not asking, he will be keeping quiet, that he will be understanding himself that yes, whatever work I am doing is right. Finally, when the damage is done, at that point of time, if you find fault with anyone, that is not acceptable, and that is not the that no site engineer can claim that uh, after completion of the work, if you find fault, that work is done very bad with a bad quality, then problem is not with anybody. Problem is site engineer, I can say. The reason is, I also faced one problem. So from that day onwards, I started monitoring like this with others. After completion of the site, when I asked a contractor why work is done wrongly, and why I asked him to redo the work. So though work he has done later, he has redone because he understood work is wrong. But he questioned me that, sir, you are there at site. I am also there at site. Work is being done. Who will tell me that work is wrong? He questioned me like that. So I did not find fault with him, because I immediately caught the meaning of that. That unless a site engineer tells that the work is wrong, can worker themselves understand that that work is wrong? No. Can supervisor understand that work is wrong? No. Contractor can understand the work is wrong? No. Site engineer only is responsible to tell whether that work is done in a manner it is told in the work order, or in a good engineering practice, what we're supposed to do, whether it is being done in the fashion. So unless a site engineer is telling that this work is to be done like this, or don't do like this, or you correct in this fashion, it is done wrongly, this is not work. The 100% quality cannot be kept, cannot be maintained at site. So only engineer has to take responsibility. Site engineer has to take responsibility of all the things what is happening there. Unless he takes responsibility, if he find faults later, then probably that is not a good work being done by him. Yeah.
Right. And you mentioned about the work order that the engineer has to look at, right?
Yeah.
So, where is this work order coming from? Like, who prepares and who reviews this work order?
Yeah. One thing is that suppose if you are at site engineer, the controlling office will give you the order. What type, for example, one building to be constructed, administrative building to be constructed. Same example, if you give on the private worker, suppose one house construction to be done for somebody, let us assume, that will have some item of work what is to be done for the particular building. If building is to be 2 floors, some quantity of work to be done. Building is 8 floors, some, I mean, 4 times extra quantity will be there. What is item to be done? The estimation we call in the house construction, whereas in the uh, government organization works, departmental works, we call as a work order. That is as per the detailed drawing, uh, and work order is prepared and contractor finalized and given to the site for execution of the work. So that if we have to fully go through what is to be done, and uh, whether properly items, sometimes there may be some missing out of items. Only site engineer has to find out whether, because sequence of work only site engineer knows. So he has to know from the work order whether it is in order or not. If it is not in order, he has to bring the notice to the his controlling office to get it rectified or do additional item of work.
Right. And now, one thing is work order is come from the this one. Now
Controlling
the
office.
site engineer is ready, right? So basically, if the site engineer he has to now start the work. I'm sure in the work order there will not be like what are the items that the or the tools that the engineer need to have, right? So any kind of must-have tools or any highly recommended tools that all the site engineers should have.
Yeah. Sorry. Um, as far as work is concerned, all the tools for executing the work will be held at site with the contractor themselves normally. But as a part of site engineer, he has to possess certain types of tools when he's at site. The minimum thing what he's supposed to have it is, he or she, measuring tape. He has to have it. Measuring scale, he has to have it. And if it is a bigger work, he has to have uh, uh, theodolite leveling instrument, some sort of thing. He has to have it if it's a bigger type of work, project sites. Then he has to have at least some leveling rule. It's called which is to be seen by whether it is in level or not. Plus, he has to have some office tools like scales, pencils, drawing boards, drawing board. These minimum things he has to have. Reason is, whenever he has to have some clarification, whenever he try to explain to the people what he wants it. In engineering, it is not that we can talk. We have to show on the drawing. We have to write and show. If this is here, this is not here. In the drawing also you have to refer, and in the drawing also you have to show that particular point of place. This is to be done like that. This is wrongly. Suppose if the wrong drawing is there, let us assume. So that he has to strike and write the right drawing there. For doing this type of works, he has to have pencil, rubber, sketch pens, everything he should possess himself. Including stapler and punching machine, because he has to maintain a lot of records, correspondence. He has to maintain it. All these things, if he is not having it, then he cannot ask at that point of time when it is required. He cannot go and fetch from outside. Balance the tools or the laboratories or site labs or something like that, testing materials, anything is there, that we can always give it outside for doing testing at labs and get the test certificates for all the materials. But these type of office equipments, like what do you call the one computer? Nowadays, computer has come. Earlier, it was another typing machine we used to have at site itself earlier days. Plus, AutoCAD minimum we should have it at PC, so that we can view, we can draw at minimum drawings we can do at site itself and make them to do it. Or the drawings received from the consultants can be reviewed by us through the AutoCAD in our PC. Plus all MS Word, PowerPoint. These are the minimum thing to be given, because sometimes reports to be given, statistics statements to be made, bill to be made. For everything, now we are dependent on the computers. Computer is a must at site nowadays. And nowadays everybody is having that. These are minimum. There is list of other required equipments, tools also there. But those things can be taken from this site, because contractor normally they will have that. For example, like the shovels or the corner square, then a level plank. So those type of things they will be always having that. So with that help we can check how it is done, what is done there. Mostly what is happening is that one of the site rituals what we have to have it is, whether this type of materials are, whether contract is having or we are having, that is to be made ready in order to proceed the daily work. Daily we may not use these tools, but even every time whenever it is required, we may be struggling to have it. Sometimes we have been seen, sometimes pen was not there, pencil was not there. See, we'll feel that time only, what is this? Frantically, we cannot do it. Then we will be write some chalk piece or some on the road or something like that. We will draw and show. So the minimum set of this type of tools has to be at office to make it. Plus some office files, no. Plus white papers. These types we should struggle. We cannot that time cannot send somebody to go and get it, because sometimes some sites it is away from the city 20-30 kilometers, some of the cities. And what to explain, And unless you make them understand through the drawing or writing hand sketch, people at level of workers, definitely they will not be able to understand, but supervisor has to, we have to make the supervisor understand. This is the minimum thing they should possess at site.
Yeah, good one. Though this looks sometimes very basic, but I think it's very
Very, very,
important.
very, very basic. People will not have it at site. That is what I have seen at so many sites.
Right. So now that we understood the role of a site engineer and also the materials or the tools that he needs to have, what kind of skills do site engineers need to have to become successful in their job or career? It can be technical, it can be non-technical. You can talk about all of this that can help people.
Yeah, it is a very good question. See, as far as the academic subjects are concerned, they have studied that and they are engineer now. There is
Right.
absolutely everyone is on the same platform. Everybody studied engineering. Everybody got the job. Apart from that, we should possess some communication skill. Unless we have a communication skill at site, in fact, I used to tell to the engineers that site is a gurukulam where you not only learn the work, but also you will become a good human being once you deal with the workers, contractors, consultants, and various agencies at site, suppliers, mostly suppliers. And if you are not knowing how to deal with how to communicate with these people, it is very difficult to manage the show. Somewhere something wrong will happen. For example, if you just if you deal with the supplier harshly, next time he will not supply the material in time. What you will do? Neither you can blame contractor, nor you can blame worker, nor you can blame yourself also. What is you blaming? What is happening here is time is given. Yes, time is fixed for completion of one house or completion of one building. Time is for assume 6 months. 6 months is fixed. In this, you have to take parallelly. You have to do so many activities and complete within 6 months. At that point of time, if your communication is not proper, everything will get delayed because of that. Suppose if you say if you are not, so assume that the supply of cement has to contractors ensure that supply of cement has to be after 1 month. Let us assume everybody will tell yes, 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 yes. By the time the excavation and arrangements, all these things will be going on. At the end of that 1 month, if you ask contractor or the supervisor whether cement is there, they will tell it has not come, sir. At that time, then what happened? No, sir, I told them, they said they will be supplying it, but they have not supplied it. Assume that this process takes another 7 weeks. So 7 weeks work is delayed straight away. We cannot prepone the any activities because everything is set. All the items of work to be executed is parallelly. A bar chart is prepared. How the work is to be taken, which work we have to complete, which work we have to start, which work parallelly to start and complete within time. If this is not monitored like that, work is not completed in time. It will not be completed in time. Then your communication should be proper. You have to ensure that they understand your communication. You have to ensure that they are executing your communication. You have to ensure that that particular item of work, that supply of cement, supply of jelly, their positioning of materials at construction materials at the right time. If they are not placing, it is your communication is not proper to the people. It is always what do you call? It is always what I can say. Engineer can take advantage of always blaming contractors or suppliers, but that is not expected by the site engineer. You can't just blame anybody other than the site engineer. You have to ensure you give the instructions before itself and monitor that. It is very simple. Site engineer job is in fact, it is a very good job, very simple job. provided you follow. If you leave it to them, then it's very difficult. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so many things for site engineers, and at least those.
Yeah, it is very vast subject actually.
Yeah. And like, what is the typical process for this site supervision? Are there any steps that people need to follow? What is the process? Like, if you can elaborate on that.
Yes. Um, See, every item of work uh, has different uh, what do you call steps. I will just take one example of plastering, just to make understand. Um, if plastering is to be done over the brick work, one of the items is the plastic. I said brick work and column, beam, and roof slab. For every item, there is a process. There is a steps available. Uh, that what is to be done, everything academic subject it is there. But at particular point of time, what is to be done, that is not written in any book, which can be gained only at site, which is called site knowledge. So this site knowledge, if you know that the work is to be done like that, that is not enough. That has to be implemented at site with the people responsible, with the contractor, consultant, workers, and supervisors. So, for example, plastering to be done. I have a checkpoints of before plastering what is to be done, during plastering what is to be done, after plastering what is to be done. I will tell minimum points of that, because there are a lot of checklists available. I will tell minimum points. For example, when plastering is done, suppose tomorrow they are going to start the plastering. So 1 week back itself, you have to plan the materials. What is the materials available? What is the workers, number of workers available? Area of plastering, how much to be done? Based on that materials, how much they have to arrange at site. This type of checklist you have to give to them on the day of um, uh, what do you call the plastering is done. Materials should be available. That is the first point. So then, on the day of doing the work, just before doing the work, the minimum check what site engineer has to do it is, he has to check whether water is saline water or not. Normally, we assume everything, not the site engineer alone, even workers or supervisor, contractor, everyone normally assumes that whatever available we get at site or wherever we get, it is a good water. So first time they will check the test certificate. Based on the test, they will send the samples to the lab to test the test certificate, and they will conclude that this is fit for construction. Okay, but subsequently is the question whether site engineer is checking or not is the big question. So this is to be checked by tasting, by putting the water into the mouth. You need not drink, but you can spit out. One of the check they have to do it like that. Then while doing on the day of plastering, the brick wall has to be made wet. See, as a routine thing, what is going to happen, what is happening at site is, fortunately, these laborers knows the work. So it is being done like that. But site engineer also has to check whether this being done in properly.
Correct.
Some portion they may do, some portion they may not do with hurry. So this has to be taken care by the site engineers while doing. While doing itself, plastering is very simple work. People all think like that, but it's very sensitive work, because it is a makeup for the building. Assume that if the plastering done is not even, it is undulations are there. Let us assume like this, undulations are there. how the building will look after completion of the work. Very ugly. But can we able to rectify also after completion of the work? No. So site engineer's duty is, while doing that plastering work, he has to see that that is work evenly. If there is a undulations, he has to go frequent checks. He has to do, visit it to the work spot. He has to do and see whether he is doing properly or not. That is one. Another thing, mostly mistakes will happen at corners of the plastering. Corners, they don't finish properly. Then while doing the work, nobody watches, let us assume. After completion of the work, after painting is done, if you see, it will look very ugly. Building is constructed for in crores. Building we will be constructing, but plastering, it is not finished properly at the corners. Can we able to rectify at that point of time? No. By the time already set. So these type of checks, what he has to. This is not told in the books actually. In the book, what they told is it should be neatly finished. It will be written in the academics like that. Neatly finished. What is neatly finished means? That is what that we are. Somebody has to tell you. Neat means this one. Thickness should be there. Evenly should be there. I mean, unfortunately, if you are the only site engineer available, you have to do everything. You have to learn yourself. Above you, some senior engineer is there. Then he will be able to tell you also. But normally, senior engineer will have his own works. He will give some works to you, supervise like that. So this is the drawbacks every site engineer is facing also. They do not have any proper training, proper what do you call the proper advice from the senior engineers. They don't have time for this. Unfortunately, site engineers are stuck actually. Yeah.
Right. Now that we know the kind of things that you need to take care of and all of that, the skills that the site engineers need to have, we know that technology has been playing a major part in every role or every domain, every career and all. So, what role does technology play here, and what kind of technology or IT skills that the site engineer needs to be aware about?
Yeah, actually, for the work completion purpose, no, there is one software available for completion of the works, like manual is Barcha, but this MS project is there. So there are so many softwares are available there. Physically, what is happening is that unless you are having very big project, small works and all, this is not suitable. It will not be suitable because by the time you organize this according to this, then uh, it is very, what do you call, if you will feel stressed because you are not able to complete this software, whatever the result you are getting it for completing the work, by the time work is to be done.
Right.
So what is happening? So like 50 crores, 100 crores project, if it is there, that time probably this may be helpful for doing that. And without that, this itself, we have some roadmap. We have created ourselves at our office that our engineering department created a roadmap called. It is Excel sheet. It is a dates based Excel sheet. So which activity, which date it has to be started, which is to be completed. This is helping us physically. Having the MS project will helpful for doing some what do you call the cross check purpose it is required. But actually, if you do like that, no, it is very difficult. By the time you find out the lacunas, for what is the rectification to be done, this rectification, by the time you tell, no, by the time work is done. So higher project, like if we 80 crores, 85 crores, a single project, 85 crores and all was there, we were following MS projects. It is a computer-based bar chart preparation, and it was helpful, no issue. But we have to have a setup of people for that. Actually, no. In fact, I was just thinking when I was talking this, IS code is there for what is the minimum specification required for materials, construction materials. IS code is there for that. And other building codes is there, how the work is to be done, item of work to be done, what is the methodology to be adopted and all. There is IS code is available. There is no code available for how many engineers are required for doing how this cost of the work, this work of the this volume of the work. Because of that, what is happening? Company, they decide themselves number of engineers at site. And you see, if people are available, work will be done. If people are not available, how work will be done? One man show has to happen some sites. So at this point of time, if we have all the works to be done by one man, it is very difficult. That's why some checklist I arrived at like that. Because of that all, I arrived at this checklist, site techniques. I have to have some checklist so that give to the contractor, you see whether you are following or not. So it was easy for me to do. Otherwise, no, telling, doing, it is very difficult. Unless I know this, I arrived at earlier, I would not executed any work. It would have gone into problem.
Right. Now, if we have followed the site techniques, taken care of the work order, everything is done. What is the handover process, right, that the site engineer needs to follow?
That is a very valid question, because unless he handovers properly to the client or to the department concerned, or to the another department, another organizations properly, no, it is very difficult to claim yourself that you have completed the work. Your completion of the work will speak only that you are handing over of the project back to the department whom you have worked. Actually, what happened when you are doing the work, it is not that doing your work, you are complete. Once your building is constructed, you are completed the work. Like that, if you claim, if any site engineer claims, that is not the completion. Completion is of you have to maintain the records of bills passed, measurement books, whatever it has been written, you have to maintain that records. It has to be with you. Then test certificates for the materials, you have to maintain a file. And correspondence which you are having with the contractors, consultants, and other departments, you have to have maintained files. And for the bigger projects, very big projects, we have to write closeout report. So closeout report after completion, what type of journey you made in the completion of the project. There is a report you have to prepare, a full report you have to prepare, how work was done, when it was, any challenge you faced, how did you solve the challenge, and what is the hurdle you faced, what type of additional works or change in specification you have done. This type of full report is supposed to prepare. That is preparation of closeout report for a bigger project itself will take a month. So this is to be arrived at all these things, plus hindrance register we used to maintain. Some site registers we have to maintain as per the guideline. Every time there would have been some hindrance for executing the work. That records and all we used to write it. Then when rain came, rainy seasons, these type of records we have to maintain it. So there are some site registers like this. There's some places cement registers, steel registers. These type of registers we have to maintain it, and after completion, after coming out from the site, we have to hand over back to this person who has given the work to us. Means either another department or another client. We have to hand out this, so that the responsibilities after the responsibilities, they will take over the facilities. Yeah.
Right. Now, this has been a wonderful conversation so far. And we know that you are also writing this book, Site Techniques for Engineers. So, this is for site engineers. And like, what is covered in this book? Who all can get benefited from this book? Can you talk something about that?
Yeah. It was my dream actually to give this type of checkpoints, checklist for every items. If any site engineer is holding this book at site, he has to, for example, plastering work, if he's there, he can refer the plastering work page and he can read. It is about maximum 6 pages for one particular item of work. What is to be done? It is written. Stage 1 supervision, what is to be done. Stage 2 supervision during the work. Stage 3 supervision after completion of the work. How long you have to follow everything. Checkpoints has been written there. And if these points are there, it is not exactly the academic subjects, but this is checkpoints. This is to be checked, this is to be seen, this is to be seen, this is to be this is. These things if he see, because he knows the specification, work order is there, academic subject is there, and um, yeah, experienced workers are working there. Things are going on, but these checks, if he is doing it, quality will be maintained. Ultimately, whatever we are talking to maintain the quality in the work, to achieve the quality in the work. I was talking to some engineer last time. Um, if if any site engineer is not checking the water, what will happen? I mean, only for plastering work, he is not checking the water, and everybody purposely they are not using bad water, but by mistake they are using bad water because whatever available they were using it, but nobody checked the water. What will happen? After a few years, this plastering will fall down. Now tell me who is responsible. So site engineer will not be available but at that point of time there. Contractor also will not be available. Their workers are not there. Who is sufferer? Client is sufferer. The department will be suffering. So site engineer is having very, very big role in this. The checking point, only he has to check. Again, I will tell one more some sort of slogan or whatever you call, is that site engineer is not there for checking of the works. Site engineer is meant for executing the work. So what most sites, what will happen now, they will be acting as a site inspection authorities. They don't act as a site executing authorities, because your mindset will be changing that time. If you are thinking that you are executing authority, you will go to each and every point of checkpoints and you will execute it. If you think that you are only inspecting authority, you will think that okay, after work is done we will check. By the time everything is over, especially civil is once you constructed, there is no rectification, only demolition. So before execution, you have to ensure that it is executed properly.
Right. So I
Yeah.
think this is very profound, and the way you mentioned about the mindset of a site engineer, rather than thinking of inspection, execution, right, where they are able to implement. And
Yes.
of course, this book, I'm sure, is going to help a lot of site engineers who
Yes.
can gain the knowledge from here. And this is not going to be like the theory. It's the practical knowledge coming from your 3 decades of experience, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Great. So we have had a wonderful conversation for about close to an hour. And before we conclude on this particular session, right, the episode, do you have any last bit that you want to share with the audience?
Um, I only wanted to say to the site engineers, or for that matter, any engineers, because all engineers, including site engineers, they think that they have lot of work. They think, but they don't think that they have already completed many works. Thinking this, I am not wrongly thinking actually. Uh, See, every day you are having work, okay, but mindset what it speaks. So far 1 month I have done, how many works I have done? It goes, mindset is goes like that. So subconsciously, what they are having in mind, they have feel stress like anything. Any work comes, they feel that, oh, again this work also we have to do like that. But already all the works done earlier. This is the work, only new work has come to you. So this is fresh work. So the mindset, it is not their problem. Everybody feels like that. It is a human being tendency. So I only wanted to tell the site engineers, please do not feel that there is a more work available for you to do at particular point of time. No, you have completed n number of works already. Don't think about that. Forget about that. Today, because everybody is having 24 hours of time, whatever the work is to come today, just do it. Just do it. Don't worry about tomorrow's work also, yesterday's works also. Just do it. And whatever, whether you think, whether you have this mindset or wrongly or rightly, whatever you are able to do in a day, only that is work is done. Okay, you cannot do more. Maximum you can stretch 120%, you can stretch 200%, 300%, 500%, nobody can stretch. Only thing is we feel, and we our moral goes down because of that. Low moral, no low energy, it goes because of that. So my point is, please don't think that there is a lot of work available for you to do the work. Simply do that. Any number of work, let it be 1,000 work also. Do, you don't worry. Keep on doing progress. You will excel like anything. Because of the thinking that you are having stress in your mind because of your more work has come like that. Instead of doing 10 works, you'll be doing only 2 works. If this mindset, if you change it, you will become wonder and you will excel in your career like anything. That's the only thing I want to tell to all engineer audience.
That's I think a great insight coming again from your huge experience, right? Just shifting that mindset so that the way you look at things and then the way you do things, actually you are able to do it in better ways and get greater results. So thank you,
Exactly.
Varadarajan ji, for being here and sharing your immense knowledge from that over 3 decades of experience coming in, and then you compressing that in 1 hour and then sharing all this to the audience today. So thank you for being here and sharing your wonderful experiences.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for all those who have been watching us live, especially the people who have also been interacting. Palanisamy, Rupali, Shashidhar, and all the others who have been watching live, and all those who are going to watch later on recording. Thank you. And I'm sure like you are going to get some great value out of this. And for people who want to connect with Varadarajan, he's available on LinkedIn, very active there, and his book coming very soon as well. So just connect with him so that you can also avail that knowledge and also that book which is going to come soon. And with that, we are going to leave you here until the next episode of Dream Career Talk Show. So stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.